Hey, what's up, Crypto Army? I'm Travis, your crypto newbie, bringing you my experiences so you don't have to learn things the hard way. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, and none of my content should be viewed as financial advice. If you like what my content offers, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications so you get notified when I publish new content. It really helps the channel grow and get the content to others that might find it helpful. So today we're going to take a look at a recap of Gallant Token's AMA from earlier today. Now, I'm a little behind on my recaps. I did an AMA for Affinity Token yesterday. Yesterday was kind of a long day for me. I had to wake up at 4 a.m. and that was a pretty lengthy AMA. So rather than do a recap of that particular AMA, since I haven't done the fundamental analysis, I'm going to do the fundamental analysis for Affinity tomorrow and then incorporate information from the AMA into that as well. And there was some stuff on their website. So I asked a couple different questions in the AMA, so I highly recommend you go take a look at it. There's a lot of good information covered in that AMA. So they recently updated their website, and I think they left a few things off, so that'll give them a little bit of time to take a look at if they want to add anything. Because I had identified the white paper's not there, and the security audit, because they've got one, and I've got a copy of that, so when we do the fundamental analysis, I'll get more in depth on all of that information. But just so I give an accurate and up-to-date assessment of that token, I just want to hold off a day just to see where it is tomorrow, and then I'll do the assessment tomorrow for that particular token. But anyway, back into Gallant Token. So good AMA, a lot of information. It was a better part of 2 hours in length. Summarizing that in a 10 to 15 minute video can be a challenge, but there was a lot of stuff talked about. I'm going to talk about most of it here, at least all the big stuff. And I also went through and updated the table of contents for that. I didn't go through necessarily and do all the different questions that were asked. And there were some good questions. I didn't put those on the table of contents. So if you want to see the entire AMA, again, 2x speed works great. 1.5x, if you can't quite keep up with 2, works great. So you can power through those. At least you know where the beginning is and the question period. And there's a little bit of information in the question. And then when the AMA kind of stopped, they went into some other stuff more kind of offline, which had some interesting discussions as well. Definitely worth checking out that particular AMA in its entirety, and it's on the channel on the live section, or should be in the playlist as well. So let's jump right in. So Gallant Token. What are some of the stuff that they talked about? So Gallant Warriors was supposed to launch in 2 days. That is now shifting to the 16th, basically a 1 week shift. So instead of this Tuesday, it'll be the following Tuesday. And it's not because the game isn't ready, it's because they haven't marketed the game, and they just signed on a marketing firm to do that for them. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to launch the game with nobody knowing that it's coming. So I completely agree. It makes perfect sense to delay the launch of the game a week, and it also gives them a chance to do some beta testing, and that's an interesting thing all by itself that you might be interested in. They hired a marketing firm to do all the marketing and communications for Gallant Token, so that should help get this particular token out to more people. Because right now, their holders are right around 4,000. This is a very early time in this token, and most gaming tokens that are out there, it could go years before you see a game. I did say that right, years. Not all of them, some of them take forever. But we're talking a week, and the first game for Gallant Token is going to launch. Right now, the price is pretty low. It's even lower than when I first covered it. I try to cover things when it's going to start going down. Well, it's gone down, and it's been staying down because that's kind of what happens with games. You have an initial launch, the price generally goes up pretty quick, and then it drops just as quick because everybody's waiting for the game. Well, the game's coming. And not just one, 2 potentially this year, and 5 more next year. So a total of 7 games is what they're currently projecting. If you go look at their roadmap and if you watch the AMA, they didn't get into a lot of specifics. They talked about a couple different games. That one was a board game they're looking at converting it into a digital game, but 7 games. Now that's impressive. And go look at other games. Go look at there's a whole bunch of different games out there. Star Atlas is one I've covered. They haven't even launched a game yet, and their price did the exact same thing, drop down. It'll be down until they get some actual gameplay. Here's a gaming token that is going to have a game in about a week. So take that into consideration whether you want to jump on it, because right now the price is pretty good. My guess is as long as the game launches and they don't have any major issues, it's probably going to go up in price. And if it doesn't on the first game, it probably will on the second game. And if it doesn't go on the second, they got 5 more tries at this. And more than likely with that many games, and the games look pretty interesting, especially one in particular. But that's kind of where they are with the launch of their first game. And King's Calling, they did a video in the middle of the AMA, and I marked that on the table of contents also. I'm not going to cover it here because it's kind of choppy. It'd be better to wait for the YouTube version. They're going to put it on their YouTube channel or on their website. That way you can watch it in higher quality and less choppy. But the game looks phenomenal. King's Calling looks amazing. And I mean, Gallant Warriors looks really interesting as well, but the graphics on King's Calling is really the kind of game that I'm looking for. The Gallant Warriors is going to be Android and iPhone, and even better, it's going to be a Telegram game also. So you're looking at lots of exposure for Gallant Warriors to get the name out there, along with the marketing firm now that they're going to be working with. One interesting update on King's Calling game, they've increased the size of the game scenario to 3,000 by 3,000. So it's going to be a pretty massive game. Now, if you're interested in playing the beta version of Gallant Warriors, check the Discord and check the Telegram. There's going to be an application out there. Now, you have to be a holder of Gallant, so that's another benefit to holders, is they get to do some of these early access things. And they're going to be selecting early access based off of a couple different factors. So just if you haven't already bought into Gallant, doesn't mean you're not going to necessarily get a chance to play it. But obviously, if you've been a Gallant holder for longer, you might have a better chance. It has nothing to do with the amount necessarily that you hold, but they are looking at how they're going to select those beta to reward the ones that have been loyal to them. So if you've been a member of the Gallant community for longer, you're probably going to have a better chance of playing the video game than somebody that goes out and buys right now. But depending on the interest, that might open up to you as well. So don't let that necessarily be the factor that prevents you from getting into the game. Now, they're going to have play to earn in some of these games as well. So that's also a factor. So if you want to earn some Gallant tokens, that should be possible once they start launching some of these games. Some other things that they talked about were the NFT marketplace. They're partnering with Paradox. That's really all I'm going to cover for this particular recap. There was a lot of stuff covered in greater depth. As always, if you've got questions about the particular game or the project that I'm covering, put them in the comments. Let me know what you have. And next time they do an AMA, as long as I can attend, I'll try to ask those questions. Same thing if you do the live stream with me. If you jump in there, I'll try to ask those questions. They seem very receptive. A lot of people ask questions today. I don't know a lot of stuff to ask about games, just because I don't play a lot of games, and right now I wouldn't have the time to play it even if I could, so I'm not going to be trying to do the beta testing for it, but I'm just keeping it real. I'm pretty busy at work. If I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to bed at like 11, that means I'm pretty busy. So I need to sleep sometime. But again, this is definitely a project to look at, because you could potentially, for a couple $100, get billions of tokens. And this one doesn't have a huge supply. Again, go back to the fundamental analysis I did. I'll put the link up here if you want to check that out. This is a token worth taking a look at. The fundamental analysis was really strong with this one. So if you're looking for a token to jump in on early and don't necessarily want to throw a lot of money but want a lot of tokens in return, this is a pretty good option. Again, not a financial advisor. I can't give you financial advice. I'm just saying the fundamentals are pretty good. Games are hard to judge, though. So it's up to you to decide whether the games that they're talking about building and the strategy, as well as the tokenomics, makes sense for your situation. But this game does have tokenomics where you're getting rewards or redistributions, depending on which terminology you want to go with. I just call it income, for owning the tokens. So consider that as well. And I did do a video on the tokenomics of this particular game, and I'll put that link here too, just to make it easier for you. But it's a strong use case, and games generally do pretty good. And if you look at the new trailer that they've got for King's Calling, you'll see it's pretty impressive graphics. It's not the same as Gallant Warriors. Gallant Warriors is more like your iPhone, Android type game. That's not King's Calling. King's Calling looks like a massive undertaking. It looks like it's going to be a fun game for people to play. I might even jump into that one. That seems more up my alley as far as like kind of the Zelda crossover type game. I did the Hyrule Warriors, so those are the kinds of games I like, and this one kind of seems like it might be similar to something like that. although it won't have all the puzzles that you would get in a Zelda game. But worth checking out this token if you haven't already done so. That's all I've got for today. Until next time, stay strong with those diamond hands. Crypto Newbie here to tell you how you can get $2,340 in free stocks. All the links I use in this video are in the description. Sign up for Webull and get 2 free stocks valued up to $2,300. Your first stock is free automatically. Deposit any amount and you get your second stock. Deposit 1 penny and you get your second stock. Total value could be up to $2,300. Generally $5 per stock is what you get. Next we have block fee. Get $10 in Bitcoin just for signing up. But read the fine print. I've got a rewards account. You'll get $40 in Bitcoin, as will I. So you know exactly what I'm going to get and what you're going to get. You do need to deposit $100 to get your $40 in Bitcoin. That's the overview how to get $2,340 just by signing up for accounts.